could do it!
Greetings, fellow mortals. Just a reminder, saying it's just my opinion is for cowards. I remember a funny story from when the original How to Train Your Dragon movie came out. I went to see the film a couple of weeks after it released, because I heard that it was actually good. I ran into a guy I knew while I was at the theaters. He wanted to see Clash of the Titans, and sneered at me in disgust when I told him what I was seeing. It went a little bit something like this.
Ha! Gay!
But the joke's on him, because How to Train Your Dragon was good enough to get a remake 15 years later, and everyone forgot about the movie that he went to see. I even had to look it up. I honestly remembered it being called Immortal something. That's how generic and forgettable it apparently was, because I never saw it. Take that, Danny.
What happened? I won.
And right after seeing the movie, I was super impressed with it. Weird thing is that I went to see it with my dad, who is half a foot taller than me and is very traditional, and doesn't understand many of my interests, such as video games or anime or reading long book series, which makes the dynamic of the film even more memorable for me. But to be fair, I also trained martial arts and was pretty good with my hands like my dad. Only difference is that I have no talent working on plumbing. Do not call me if you have that problem.
Look at you, a little tiny toilet for a little tiny baby to... Ah! Curse you, tiny toilet!
But the dynamic of Hiccup and Stoic really hit home, along with Hiccup's feelings of being an outcast. I mean, I got made fun of for going to see this exact film. Plus, Hiccup's connection with Toothless hit my love of animals, and the animation, and the music, and the coming-of-age story, the action, and the ending. It was basically a perfect film at the time for me, and it still kind of is.
And I gotta tell you, it was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
I have almost no critiques for the movie. There's little to nothing that could be done to improve it in any way. Even Hiccup losing a foot at the end to mimic Toothless's missing tail fin leads to the best possible ending. In fact, the only critique that I could possibly accept is that the film is in no way like the books. In fact, besides sharing the same names, the people in these stories could in no way be any more different.
Can you forgive me for distrusting you? Oh, I can't stay mad at what is essentially me. I love me.
And the books are good. I have the opinion that at least the first movie is better than the novels, but they were enjoyable reads when I was younger. I don't know how much they hold up 15 years later, but still. And notice how I said the first movie. The sequels, well, I don't particularly like how they handled Valka, and the ending of the third one didn't really hit like it should have.
Is that it?
Oh, no. Ah, good. You also get this leather-bound set of encyclopedias.
But the first film is absolutely fantastic. 10 out of 10, would recommend, would rewatch excessively, would go see the remake, which I did. And to my shock, they did about as good as a live-action remake possibly could, meaning that 99.99% of it is a shot-for-shot remake of the original. You would literally have to put the two versions of the film on at the same time on two different monitors to see any of the differences in terms of the cinematography, the writing, and the music. They are effectively the same.
Corporate needs you to find the differences between this picture and this picture. They're the same picture.
Even the costumes and the sets perfectly match the original, which, I don't know, kind of look silly at times. Maybe, I mean, come on, animated appearances can get away with some things that live action just can't. Just look at some of the anime adaptations. Sometimes things don't translate well from animation to the real world. It kind of looks like cosplay.
How do you do, fellow kids?
What?
But if you can get past some of the cosplay aspects of it, everything else looks amazing, especially the dragons. Where was this CGI the past 5 to 10 years, huh? Why does everything else look so terrible and fake now? Say what you want, but that is Toothless. The entire film revolved around them not messing him up, because if they did, it would be irredeemable. I have talked to people who despise the idea of this live action remake to its core, and even they had to admit that Toothless looked really, really good.
That'll do, pig. That'll do.
And I have to give it to the actors. They gave it their absolute best in order to embody these characters. Oh, that's Hiccup, that's Rough and Tough, that's Gobber, Astrid, Stoic, Fishleg, Snotlout. They all did a really great job. Although it was a little weird that Astrid wasn't blonde. I get the whole idea about not telling a black woman what to do with her hair, but I have seen some black female cosplayers who wore blue, green, and neon pink wigs for characters. They'd probably stab this actress for a chance to play Astrid and wear that blonde wig.
I shouldn't have said that. I should not have said that. I shouldn't have said that.
But those are my only real issues, because it's How to Train Your Dragon, shot for shot, beat for beat. It is the exact same movie, virtually no differences, which leads to the pressing question of, why does this exist?
But why? Why would you do that? Why would you do any of that?
If given the choice, I would pick the original film 10 out of 10 times. Even with all the work and passion put into the remake, it's still the inferior version. It's inevitable. At what point has any live action remake been better than what it was based off of? Maybe Maleficent? Maybe? I mean, that dragon fight at the end of Sleeping Beauty still holds up today. Can you think of any example of live action beating animation that it's based off of?
Really makes you think.
But at the very least, it does give me a chance to talk about such a great story. A boy who uses his brain before his brawn in a society which approves of brute force above everything else. He uses a machine to accomplish something that no one else can, take down a Night Fury. But he can't bring himself to slay an innocent, intelligent creature just for the acceptance of his father and his peers.
Hey, who left this bowl of onions here?
Only then to bond with said dragon and learn how the creatures function on such a fundamental level that he outpaces everyone in fighting against dragons, winning the approval of the people around him, including the father who is ashamed of him, even eventually gaining the affection of the girl who has grown jealous of him by showing her just how amazing dragons can be during a romantic flight, to the point where you can see when her heart melts.
It's not like I lay awake at night thinking about her. Uh-oh.
Everything starts to fall apart when Hiccup refuses to kill a dragon during his graduation ceremony, resulting in Toothless getting captured, his father disowning him, his people giving up on him, and going to destroy the nest of dragons. And Hiccup has to take his new love interests and friends out to save his people, losing a foot in the process, but creating a better society for both Vikings and dragons while getting everything he wanted by being authentically himself.
Would you get out of here?
There's nothing to fix, there's nothing to change. So if I have to give anything to the live action remake, it would be that the people behind it realize this undisputed fact. They were passionate about what they were doing. No one was phoning it in. They tried and cared and enjoyed what they were doing. They wanted this not only to be a success, but to be something that will share this story with more people, especially people like Danny, who didn't appreciate animation at the time. That's right, I win, Danny. I told you it would be the better movie.
This check is made out to go yourself.
In your face!
And for once, I don't think that the budget of a film is overinflated. You can see where the $150 million went. Everything doesn't look like hot garbage. In fact, this version of the film cost $15 million less to make than the original, which is wild to me. It's probably because they would have to be required by unions to pay animators more than CGI artists. So, that's great. I'm glad they saved money by paying hard-working artists less money. That's fantastic.
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
And it looks like the film is on its way to at least making its money back, maybe more, we'll see. Streaming really changes the game with post-theater income for the films, and a sequel has apparently already been greenlit, so there is at least one positive. We might have a chance to have the sequel live-action film fix the problems of the sequel animated film, mostly not holding Valka responsible for abandoning her family.
Geez, sorry.
Look, Stoic got his lashings in the first film. It was shown that he was wrong and that he regretted his actions. I mean, he caused his own son to lose a foot. He has to live with that, and he learned to be a better father. And okay, Valka was taken from Hiccup at the start, but she obviously could have returned at any point to take him with her. She didn't fit in with the Vikings. She couldn't kill dragons. What made her think that Hiccup would? Why not just sneak him off? Why leave him? Why isn't Hiccup at least a little bit angry at her?
Does that make sense? Ladies and gentlemen, I am not making any sense. None of this makes sense.
So there's an actual chance to make a better version of How to Train Your Dragon 2. But this does concern me a bit with DreamWorks. I'm sick enough with Disney doing these live action remakes. God only knows that most of DreamWorks' films wouldn't work in live action. Imagine Shrek, Madagascar, Kung Fu Panda, Trolls, or Wallace and Gromit in CGI. Oh my god, that last one just made me throw up in my mouth a little.
These are some ugly looking fish.
Maybe we're near one of those toxic waste dumps.
I think I'm gonna be sick.
Okay, so what do they have that wouldn't just be all CGI pretending to be live action? Prince of Egypt? Please. That would stir people up way too much. B-movie? That would be a disaster. Monster vs. Aliens isn't even that popular. The Croods, Turbo, Mr. Peabody, and Sherman, maybe, but I don't think a lot of people would care. They already took a dump on Megamind, so that leaves, oh no, a CGI boss baby?
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Yeah, they don't have a whole lot to work with there. At absolute best, this is a sidestep for the studio because no other film would work as well, not even Spirit, unless they're adapting the How to Train Your Dragon shows and books. They have a limited number of movies. So, what's the plan here, besides making money in the short term?
We've got to have money.
You see, that's why I have a hard time even praising the best possible version of the live-action remake. They have nothing new to really say. They have nothing new to add. They're just a stalling tactic for the creatively bankrupt. It's the end of anything new or innovative. Will we get another surprise hit like How to Train Your Dragon, the animated version? At this rate, no, and that's the problem.
Take a look at this. Jesus Christ, that right there is the mail. Now let's talk about the mail. Can we talk about the mail, please, Mac? I'm dying to talk about the mail with you all day, okay?
I mean, I can't bring myself to be angry or annoyed with this, but I'm also not apathetic like with Devil May Cry and Lilo and Stitch. Unless the second movie changes drastically and they start adapting the books, there's not much left to do or to accomplish or to say. It's concerning to say the least. Things can go south really, really fast from here, even with a positive live-action remake. And the last thing we need is perhaps one of the few studios that competes with Disney in any way to suffer setbacks and losses because they focus on this live-action trend. Also, I swear, if Shrek 5's leaks are true and they go to the real world, oh my god, I'm gonna lose my mind.
This is worthless.
It's less than worthless, my boy.
Live action How to Train Your Dragon is the absolute best of a bad situation. Where things progress from here is what has me concerned. I hope they have a plan going forward because the ground can fall out from under them real fast.
Well, that's the end of me.
But what do you think? Do you like How to Train Your Dragon? Did you enjoy this new remake? Do you enjoy all the films? Do you dislike Valka as much as I do? Please leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And remember, if you disagree with everything I have to say, that is perfectly fine. After all, everyone is entitled to their objectively wrong opinion.
And we'll be forfeiting the championship match.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Thank you all so much for watching.
You're still here?
Good night, everybody.
Thank you. You bye. Boom.
Do not despair.